Hey my friends, today I'm going to go through a couple of Kundalini awakening symptoms or signs that won't go away. You're stuck with these for life. They're not negative, so don't worry. But you can perceive them to be negative if you're coming from a certain state of being, but why you'd create that for yourself, I'm not sure. So let's go into them. Some Kundalini signs and symptoms that will never go away. Now I say never go away. There is one here that will go away, but I'll explain that in a moment. The first sign that will not go away and perhaps will increase as we go further down your Kundalini journey is cosmic blue lights. Now when we start our Kundalini awakening journey, it becomes very apparent to us very quickly that when we close our eyes and look up, we can see sometimes, for everyone really, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time or getting used to, or sadhana for some to realize it. But if you look up at your third eye, there is a purple or blue light. Now, this purple or blue light will grow in size as we do more sadhana, as we dive deeper into our practice, which is essentially what sadhana is. And also I genuinely believe that we just become more conscious of it. It's like that painting that's always been there in your office, that you've just never paid attention to. It's always been there, right? But we've never paid attention to it because it's ugly, or because it's never been relevant for us to look at it. I feel this to be this way. I feel that perhaps after our Kundalini awakening, if we can't see this purple light, that it's probably still there. We're just not focusing on it. Perhaps we're not told to. But this is why when we meditate, we're looking up at our third eye, just in between our eyebrows and up a little bit in the middle of our forehead. And you'll see it. Now these blue lights, they'll continue as well. We'll call them cosmic blue lights. And almost, it depends on which way you look at it. Now I don't believe in ghosts, really. In some instances I do, because obviously when somebody says that they've seen a ghost, they've obviously seen a ghost. There's no reason for them to lie. But I almost believe that perhaps they're projections of our own consciousness, because these blue lights, perhaps I've seen them written in text as blue orbs, or blue spirit orbs, and I'm like, when I used to be a child, I used to think that people who saw blue orbs on do you remember that TV show, Most Haunted or whatever it was, where they used to go around and have a look in the most haunted buildings and scare the lives out of each other, and they used to catch little blue orbs on camera or whatever. I used to think that people that said they saw blue orbs were crazy. I always thought it was a figment of the lens, the camera lens when they were filming it, and if somebody actually saw it with their own eyes, I used to think, oh, you're nuts. Until I now have the real experience of these cosmic blue lights. I don't believe them to be external, because sometimes we see them with our eyes open, right? We just see little flickers, little blue lights, and perhaps I feel that people that are seeing blue orbs, if they call them spirit orbs or whatever, are actually just going through a Kundalini awakening. They're seeing these blue orbs that shine and burst and whiz across your consciousness. But it's internal. It's a projection in front of our consciousness. It's not a blue orb out there. This is just my feeling of it. I'm open to being wrong, but it's just my experience. If I close my eyes, blue orbs are there, sometimes. If I open my eyes, blue orbs are there, they ping. So I don't feel that they're necessarily external. I feel they're within me, and they are a symptom of Kundalini. And it's a symptom of Kundalini that will stay. And not only stay, but grow. You'll see more. You'll see beautiful colours that perhaps you never even knew were possible. The most vivid purples and blues, reds, yellows, greens, all within your consciousness. Well, all in front of your consciousness, if we can speak like that. The next Kundalini sign or symptom that will not go is the 4 a.m. wake-up calls. You'll know if you're going for a Kundalini awakening, at about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock maybe, you're jolted up in the middle of the night, full of energy. It's the Kundalini, right? It's like the Kundalini alarm clock is awakening you again. It wakes you up every morning. And I don't know why. I believe perhaps it's something to do with the cycle of the moon or the sun. There seems to be more of a benefit when we practice at these times, our yoga, or we seem to be instilled with a different kind of energy, a more fruitful energy as we do sun salutations as the sun rises. I genuinely believe that Kundalini is the energy that's almost controlling all of this. And it sets the parameters for when's best for us to wake up. It's like sometimes we fool ourselves and think, oh, I know when it's best for me to wake up. And it's like, oh dear, it's a bit arrogant because we didn't choose to be put on this earth. Perhaps we can say that we did, but we didn't choose to have a Kundalini awakening. It's the Kundalini, it just happens sometimes in people. And if Kundalini says you're getting up, you're getting up. And these 3 a.m. wake-up calls, they will subside, perhaps, but the only reason they'd be subsiding is, from my experience, for a few reasons. One, if we're not doing our sadhana, it will subside, because sadhana is essentially us stoking up more inner energy, more prana, more Kundalini energy through our system. And if we're not actively stoking that up within ourselves, we're not going to wake up at 3 a.m. There's less energy, body needs to sleep, right? But when there's more energy pulsing through our body, when we're doing daily practice, we will be waking up because our body doesn't need to sleep anymore. Boom, Kundalini's active. Oh God, it's 4 o'clock in the morning again. And then we can't usually get back to, sometimes we can't usually get back to sleep afterwards. And that's because we don't need it. This is just my deep feeling for it. When the Kundalini alarm clock goes, you're up. Might as well practice. And when you do, you'll realize that there's a huge benefit to practicing at the times that Kundalini says you should practice. You'll stop the 3 a.m. wake-up calls, that's one reason. But the 4 a.m. wake-up calls, 3 or 4 a.m. wake-up calls will also stop if you have, if you're indulging in unhealthy acts, for example, alcohol. You won't get the 4 a.m. wake-up call. You'll get a 9 a.m. wake-up call with a headache. If you're indulging in really poor quality food, for example, if you have a KFC, McDonald's, Burger King or something like that, your body, you will feel it. You will be more tired in the morning. I genuinely believe that's why every McDonald's, Burger King and KFC meal comes with a Coke. Because otherwise I think you just fall asleep whilst you are eating it. They do seem to drain your body, and you will not get the 4 a.m. wake-up call if your body is still trying to process that food, that... Essentially, I don't believe food when we eat it. Take a pause. Cut that last one out. Food, when we eat it, scientifically turns into, over a day, our DNA. And what doesn't turn into our DNA gets chucked out of the system, right? Through various processes. We know this is science. Because the food, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, whatever it is, because it's so processed and so not made for our DNA, so much less of it is used in the human body and more of it is wasted. But because it's kind of not recognized by our body, it requires more energy for our body to transmute it, if we can speak like that. And this is why I genuinely believe with very, very greasy foods, I don't think the human body's meant to take that stuff in. I really don't. And I think it does genuinely drain and deplete all of our energies because the body's like, I don't know what to do with this. What are you feeding me this crap for? What's going on, dude? I keep telling you that this food's no good for me by giving you pains in your tummy or or giving you heart palpitations as you eat it, or making you tired and sleepy once you've finished it. But you're not listening to me, bud. So you're going to have to sleep for longer while I do this to clear out your body for you. It's funny. We're funny, really, aren't we? Life's quite merciful. We make mistake after mistake after mistake, and sometimes the same mistake over and over and over and over again, and life's just like, I forgive you. But after a while, that stops, and we create dis-ease in our systems, and that's when things go wrong. But noticing that it's not luck of the draw, but that actually we're creating that for ourselves. Most of the time. Of course, sometimes people are just unlucky, and that sucks. But life's too good to be fair. In my experience, it's too perfect to be fair. Okay, went a bit off topic there. But if we're eating rubbish food, essentially, you won't get the 4 a.m. wake-up call, because that energy is going to be needed to be processing that really bad quality food that we've been putting into our bodies. One Kundalini sign or symptom that will leave after a while is, or maybe will just be highlighted, it won't leave at the start, but it's those body shocks, those body jolts, you know, when those shoots of energy go down your leg, down your arm, and you're just there twitching. That's the Kundalini energy, I believe, I don't know this to be true, sort of moving. Once it's done its job where it needed to be, it will move down our nadis, down our energy channels, into a new position where it needs to be, after it's been exhausted, after the job's been exhausted there. And we can find, while we're in a meditation seat, ourselves jolting around like this sometimes, and it's essentially, I believe, and it's becoming my experience that it is that way, because our nervous system is weak. And as we do more practice with our prana, our energy, usually breath work, but also with yoga, and we begin to sensitize the nervous system and calm it down, we do find less of these jolts. But for one who doesn't do the work after the Kundalini awakening, the yogic work, the pranic work, these jolts will probably continue until the yogi or the aspirant decides to essentially calm down their nervous system by stilling their mind, stilling their inner field, and working with their prana in order to get the most positive impact from those energy shots. We need to use that energy somehow, right? So we might as well use it for good and turn that energy into positivity within us, into a blissful feeling. And we can do that. And you can start doing that using the free breathing practices down below, should you wish. They're there for you. And they will stoke up this inner feeling. You're essentially, this inner feeling of bliss, you're essentially transmuting your prana or your energy and stoking it up and bringing it and sort of centralizing it in a feeling way, so that we have the confidence, the vitality to be who we really are and feel blissful doing it. And that's down below. And should you wish, there's a free community for awakening souls. Essentially, should you wish to share, help out, any knowledge, any tidbits, you're more than welcome to join us down below. That's free. It will always be free, especially at a time when, especially for people who are going through perhaps a Kundalini awakening, at a time when they may seem a bit wacky to their parents or to their friends, and they can't really open up and speak about what's really happening to them, because you know that your parents might understand. And I never got that opportunity when I woke when I woke up, when I had a Kundalini awakening. So I wish to be able to pay that forward for you. So that is down there, it's free, down below. It'll always be free. I'll never charge you for it. That's my promise to you. So if you wish, you can join us there. And I think that's it for me. I can't think of anything else to say, so that will do. Thank you very much and have a good day.